Today we have with us Dr. Leena Deshpande, developmental pediatrician. She specializes in a number of developmental disorders seen in children. Today the doctor will tell us about ADHD and disorders associated with the condition.
ADHD stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactive Disorder.
Doctor, can you tell us what is ADHD?
Every once in a while you come across a child who is very active. He's overactive, he's jumping, he's climbing, he's unable to sit at one place, he's on the go all the time. Very impatient, can't wait his turn, gets distracted very easily, doesn't listen to instructions. In these children, it has been found that these children might be suffering from what we call as ADHD or Attention Deficit Hyperactive Disorder. They have these three main cardinal symptoms of attention deficit, which means poor concentration, hyperactivity, and third is impulsivity. So they are unable to control their behavior and it gets out of hand.
But aren't children supposed to be running, jumping and be active?
Certainly, children are supposed to be running, jumping, being very active, and it's not uncommon to see a 2 or 3 year old child who's overexcited, running around, climbing sofas, especially in special situations like a party or an outing. But as they grow older, we expect that this overactivity calms down and concentration starts improving. Now, in some children, if this does not happen, it ends up causing problems not only in their academics, but also in them making friends and in their social development. This is when there is a problem, and this is when a diagnosis or consideration of a diagnosis of ADHD should be done.
So does every child who is overactive have ADHD?
Absolutely not. There is a whole range of physiological and medical causes which can cause overactivity in children. It can be very simple things like the child being very hungry, very tired. This might end up the child being very irritable and concentrating poorly. Also, there are various medical conditions which can interfere with the child's concentration. So, if you are suspecting ADHD because of overactivity, the child needs a detailed history, examination and a detailed assessment of the child's behavior and development. Now, ADHD is not equal to one symptom, it's a combination of different symptoms, and we have set criteria which the child has to fulfill. And all these symptoms should be present for more than 6 months. So, it's not an intermittent thing, it should be severe enough to cause problem in the child's academic and social development. It should be present in more than one setting. So, if the child is absolutely fine in school and the child is very overactive or out of control at home, it may not be ADHD. Similarly, if the child is very overactive at school and not so at home, again the diagnosis may need to be reconsidered.
And what causes the child to be overactive?
See, behavior as we see it is a combination of nature and nurture. Some children are inherently overactive, but how they are handled makes all the difference. So, good parenting skills are necessary to manage children with overactivity. Parenting problems will not cause ADHD, but if a child with ADHD is not handled carefully or properly, the symptoms might worsen. Boundaries, limit setting is very important for all children, including overactive children. Usually what happens is there is a lot of inconsistent parenting going on. So what is acceptable or okay for father may not be so acceptable for the mother. And inconsistent parenting causes a lot of problems of behavior in children. The other most common factor which causes attention problems in children is early and excessive exposure to electronic media. Now what happens is in this day and age, a lot of children are exposed to televisions and computers and mobile phones from quite early on, and televisions are actually being used as babysitters for children. There is a lot of research and a lot of evidence which has suggested that there is a huge negative impact on the child's communication and socialization skill in relation to excessive exposure to TV. With passive stimulation, creativity suffers. Other thing which happens is the image on TV is constantly changing. So the brain of a young child gets used to excessive passive stimulation. Normal life in comparison is very boring. Nothing new is happening every minute. So the child starts seeking stimulation and ends up doing a lot of purposeless activity and having problems with his attention and activity levels. Also, children are great imitators, so they copy what they see on TV. Adult language, aggressive behavior will be copied. So TVs should not be used as babysitters to get the parents through the day. TVs can be used, or informative channels can be used as a third parent if you want, where there should be an interaction if at all the child is sitting in front of the TV about what's happening on TV. The child should not be passively kept in front of the TV for hours on end.
That's really great insight into the condition. How common is ADHD?
Yes, it's very common. The prevalence is thought to be somewhere between 8 to 10% of children, of school-going children. So you can imagine how many children with ADHD are around. If a classroom has something like 50 children, there are at least 4 to 5 children in every single class of our schools who might be having symptoms of ADHD. Now they might be mild, they might be moderate, or they might be severe. Nonetheless, the prevalence worldwide is supposed to be between 5 to 8 to 10% of children. Problem is, it's not being diagnosed enough. In fact, ADHD is a condition which has been overdiagnosed and underdiagnosed at the same time. In areas where there is no awareness about ADHD as a condition, these children are being labeled as mischievous, aggressive, not listening, stubborn, etc. While in areas where the diagnosis of ADHD is known, or the awareness regarding this condition is known, every child who's overactive is being diagnosed as ADHD. The point I'm trying to make here is that we have to be very careful when you give a diagnosis of ADHD. Not every child with overactivity is ADHD. Not every child with ADD or ADHD has overactivity as a main symptom. It could just be a concentration problem.
Found our information useful? If you find the video helped you, please like it. Tell us what you think about our videos. Please leave a comment. To watch our other videos, click here. For more on your health, log on to health.india.com.